Good day everyone! Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So kung bago lamang kayo sa aking channel, huwag kalimutan na mag-subscribe. Just click the red button below and hit the notification bell para maging updated kayo sa mga susunod ko na uploads. It has been me again, Sir John Lipernada, and for today's episode, we are going to discuss on how to get the value of the gravitational potential energy and the kinetic energy. Let us start this episode in discussing the what we call potential energy. So how can we able to get the value of the gravitational potential energy? So according to a source, for us to get the value of the gravitational potential energy, we are going to use this formula. And the formula of it is PE equals M times G times H. Again, the formula that we are going to use for us to get the value of the gravitational potential energy is PE or potential energy equals M times G times H, wherein M stands as the mass of the object, G stands as the magnitude of the acceleration due to gravity, and H stands as the height. Okay, let us have an example on getting the value of gravitational potential energy. So, for example, number 1, the problem is, what is the gravitational potential energy of Tristan who has a mass of 38 kilograms and is standing on the edge of a diving board that is 5 meters above the water? So, given this problem, so the first thing that we are going to do is to find the given values. And the given values based on this problem are the following. So the value of M, which is our mass, is given by 38 kilograms, which is the mass of Tristan. Another one is the G. So the value of G is always given as this one. So 9.8 meter per second squared. So lahat ng problems natin, ang value of G is laging 9.8 meter per second squared. Another one is H or height. And the value of height of H, rather, given this problem, is 5 centimeter as the height above the water. So after identifying the given values, we can now rewrite the formula on getting the value of gravitational potential energy, which is given by PE equals M, or our mass, times G, the magnitude, times H, which is our height. So step 3, after identifying the given values and rewriting the formula, is all about substituting all those identified values in step 1 in our formula. And that is why we will have PE equals, so replace the value of M, which is 38 kilograms, replace the value of G, which is 9.8 meter per second squared, and replace the value of H, which is 5 meters. That is why we have this equation. So after we substitute all those given values, we can now simplify these values now. And para masimplify natin ito, kailangan muna natin siyang i-multiply. So, alin muna ang i-multiply natin? So, since meron tayong tatlo dito na mga different values, ang una nating i-multiply ay yung first two expressions natin. So, we are going to multiply 38 kilograms by 9.8 meter per second squared. That is why magkakaroon tayo ng okay, kung i-multiply natin ito, gagamit tayo ng calculator. 38 times 9.8 is only 372.4. And kopyahin natin yung mga given units natin. We have kg or kilograms and meter per second squared. Then kuhain lang natin si 5 meters. So, pagkatapos natin i-multiply yung dalawa, nakuha natin yung product, i-multiply naman natin siya sa 5 meters. And that is why this will give us our final answer as PE equals, so i-multiply natin, 372.4 times 5 is just only equal to 1,862. Then just multiply the given units. We have kg. Then m times m is m squared. Since may 1 tayo dito, may 1 din tayo dito. And 1 plus 1 is just 2. So, sa rule ng exponents, kapag meron tayong same variables, what we are going to do is just to add the exponents. So, since si m at si m ay parehong may invisible exponent na 1, i-add lang natin sila. 1 plus 1 is 2. Then, copy the variable m. Then, over s squared. So, final answer for problem number 1 is PE or potential energy equals 1,862 kilograms meter squared per second squared or just 1,862 J or joules. So, this symbol stands as joules. So, after you learn on how to get the value of the gravitational potential energy, we will now discuss on how to get the value of the kinetic energy. So, the question for now is, how can we able to get the value of kinetic energy? And if in potential energy, the formula that we are going to use is P equals M times G times H. In kinetic energy naman, ang gagamitin natin na formula ay KE or kinetic energy equals 1 half times M times V squared. Wherein, our M stands as our mass of the object and V stands as the velocity. Okay, let us have an example on getting the value of kinetic energy. So, for example, number 1, the problem is a 1,200 kilograms car has a velocity of 20 meter per second. What is the car's kinetic energy? So, what we are going to know in this problem is the car's kinetic energy given that it has a mass of 1,200 kilograms and has a velocity of 20 meter per second. And for us to get its kinetic energy, we are going to perform this procedure. So, step 1 again is to find the given values. And based on this problem, the given values are the following. So, M or the mass of the car is 1,200 kilograms and the velocity is 20 meter per second. So, after we identify the given values, what are we going to do next is to use the formula, the most appropriate formula in getting kinetic energy, which is given by KE equals 1 half times M times V squared. Next step is by substituting the given values, these given values, into this formula. And that is why we will have this equation now. So, K equals 1 half. Replace the value of M, which is 1,200 kilograms, and the value of V, which is 20 meter per second. And just copy the squared. So what are we going to do next is to simplify the exponential expression. And the exponential expression here in our equation is 20 meter per second squared. And for us to get the simplified value of this one, what are we going to do is to multiply 20 meter per second squared twice since it has an exponent of 2. So we are going to distribute uh, this exponent in all these terms inside the parentheses. That is why we will have 1 half times 1,200 kilograms, and 20 squared is just 400, then m squared s squared. So, bakit tayo yung nakarating dito sa 400 m squared over s squared? Saan nanggaling si 400? So, ipakita natin. So, dun sa una natin, 20 squared. And 20 squared is just equal to this one. So, 20 multiplied by itself twice. 20 times 20 is just equal to 400. That is why we have 400 here. And m multiply by itself twice, and m times m is just m squared. And s times s is just s squared. So after we simplify the exponential expression, we can now multiply these numbers. So 1,200 kilograms times 400 meters squared per second squared. And this will give us this equation. So K equals 1 half. And if you are going to input these numbers and get the product of this, so 1,200 times 400 is just 480,000. Then copy the units kg, meter squared per second squared. And this will give us our final answer as PE equals, so 480,000 times 1 is 480,000, then 480,000 divided by 2 is just 240,000 kg m squared per second squared, or just 240,000 joules. Okay, before ending this video, allow me to share you a verse coming from the book of Proverbs, chapter 31, verse 26. It says that, "He opens her mouth with wisdom, and teaching of kindness is on her tongue." Again, thank you for listening in this episode, and I hope you learned a lot from this. And God bless everyone.